welcome back to She Plays the Podcast. I am super excited to be joined by Devin Cox today. Devin is on the Color of Ultimate Executive Committee. He's the Executive Director of Color of Ultimate College Nationals and Color of Ultimate WUCC, which we'll get into all about that. Also a player on Atlanta Dirty Bird, serves on the Atlanta Soul Executive Committee and is the co-owner and coach, and also a coach of Ultimate at Maynard Jackson High School and YCC Atlas U17 Boys. Devin, thanks for joining the podcast.
Hey, happy to be here.
Yeah,
You
really
really nailed that
excited.
introduction. There's
Sorry,
a
what?
lot of ultimate. You really nailed that introduction. There's a lot of ultimate lingo.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm hopefully been learning a lot, just getting to talk with some amazing folks in the space. But you are, yes, I can't wait to dive into every part of this because you are, I just imagine, are super busy and probably love Ultimate. So can't wait to chat about all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Nailed
So
it.
I guess first off, you're still a player currently? Play yourself?
Yeah, that's actually my highest priority is a player. Maximizing my potential as a player. Playing the best games that I can, and having a great time too. It is about fun for me as well.
Well, and the great name, Atlanta Dirty Bird. I mean, what a great team name. I love it.
Yeah, look us up. We're first year, made some noise at nationals this past weekend actually. So yeah, it's been great.
Awesome. Awesome. And a coach as well, giving back a bit. So I'm curious, how did you first get into the sport of ultimate?
I went to a school in Atlanta called Paideia, and that is kind of a hub of ultimate and has many great coaches that come through that school. So it was pretty popular, and I picked it up.
Awesome. And then going into post high school, did you play club or did your school, if you went to college or university, to have a like actual team?
Yeah, I went to the University of Georgia,
Awesome.
and I didn't play my freshman year because I thought classes would be too hard. That was foolish because, of course, ultimate became the number one priority. Uh, just kidding, but not somewhat not kidding as well. But spent 4 more years playing Ultimate there, and then played all Ultimate still in Athens and in Atlanta, and haven't stopped since.
That's awesome. Is the SEC pretty, big at having teams on their campuses and like traveling around and playing in conference or anything like that?
We don't get the most support from the schools themselves.
Sure,
It's
football.
mostly the club players who drive the money and try to advocate for ourselves. And yeah, it's definitely not a varsity sport. I think there are some kids getting scholarships these days. There's like a handful at certain schools, but
Okay.
that's very new.
Well, yeah, hopefully that continues to grow as I know the sport is growing at the still at the high school level. More and more communities are learning about it and picking it up. And yeah, maybe that's the future. That's exciting. So yeah, so then graduated, still playing, and then got into a lot of executive roles. So how did you get to the business side of Ultimate Frisbee?
Yeah, I guess, really coaching was kind of the first step in taking like more of an ownership of the community and sport. Um, I coached after college at the University of Georgia. I coached the C team, so got into some more developmental coaching and trying to, teach it in a way that, helps players feel welcome and makes them feel inspired to do their best. And, that was a good time. And then in Atlanta, there was this game that actually out in Alabama, this guy Chris Pereira started called Color of Ultimate, and it was just kind of a small event that brought players of color together with um, local players and kind of had the showcase game. And he got the local media to do a TV shoot for it. Like a two minute spot, and so we kind of talked about doing a bigger one in Atlanta, and he said, "Yeah, run with it." And so a few of us started Project Diversity in Atlanta, and then we used that to start Color of Ultimate in partnership with the Atlanta Flying Disc Club. And we partnered with both the Atlanta Soul and the Atlanta Hustle, two professional teams in Atlanta. and it really made a lot of noise, and it was successful. And so I've been working with that organization, and that's just opened up opportunities for me for other organizations. So Atlanta Soul was in need of more leadership at the top and people to run the games this past year. So I stepped into that role, and this program called Ultimate Peace, which I actually didn't mention because it's so new for me, but this it's really a camp, and it started out in Israel, and the whole purpose was to bring Jewish and Muslim kids together to play Ultimate and learn Ultimate, and also at the same time work through conflict. And in that way, it was a very special idea, and it was executed for a number of years until um, local Israelis took over the program, and now it's completely run locally. The Americans are not as involved these days, but going forward, there's going to be a camp in the U.S., and that is really exciting, and I'm happy to be a part of that,
That's
developing that.
incredible. Yeah, yeah. Well, and I mean, how beautiful. I mean, I think there's something so special about sport that can do that, that can bridge gaps or bridge gaps, build bridges that other things can't. That's incredible.
Yeah. I'm very inspired by this camp. I do, like you said, I am very busy with ultimate things, but this was something that I just said yes to very quickly because it does sound like a great opportunity to make something new and something inspiring.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and also Color of Ultimate, like you mentioned, I want to definitely dive into that too, because again,
Mhm.
how important is it for people, young kids to have representation in front of them of like seeing what is out there, a different kind of sport maybe, or just seeing themselves on a out on the playing field pitch. I'm still learning the lingo, but what do you call where games were played? Is it the
We
pitch?
call it the field.
The field. Okay. Yeah. And so that's awesome. What do you feel like? What are maybe some of the stories from some of your time in Color of Ultimate that have just been like, wow, this is really powerful, or oh my gosh, yeah, I love being here and seeing this program happen.
Yeah. I think when we had that Atlanta showcase game, we had no idea how big it was going to get, and there were players from all over the world, actually, from Colombia, which is a country that has some of the best players in the world, especially some of the best female players, and some of them came and played in the game, which was incredible, and it drew a lot of attention. Um, we got a big crowd out, and a lot of people on social media were talking about it and watching it, and we even created a documentary which you can find on our YouTube channel, and this documentary goes through the experiences of some of these players, experiencing discrimination in America, and how it's ultimate is this thing that in some ways is a little surface level, a way to connect, but this was a way to show that not everyone has the same experiences. If you don't know someone on a more personal level, you might not know that. So we're glad to share that message, and people have been showing that documentary to classrooms and showing that as the highlights from that game, because it's important to see people that look like you, and black and brown kids don't necessarily get opportunities to see players like them in ultimate. In other sports, it can vary, but in ultimate, we've created something that is completely unique, like in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. One certainly in South America, like you're saying, Colombia, I think is the Revolution in the Premier Ultimate League
That's right. Yeah.
in Colombia. And I just remember hearing Marta, so football player, talk about how, just her experience as a woman in football in Brazil and seeing that change so dramatically from when she was 12 or even younger, got on a bus to go into a bigger city, and now, the face of football for women in Brazil. It's just really cool to think about all the little girls in Colombia and little boys who can be inspired by these amazing female athletes. So that's really cool. We will definitely put in the show notes the link to that documentary for sure. Everyone should definitely go check that out.
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot of links. We can put our link tree in there too.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll put all the links. So yeah, so you're executive director as well of Color of Ultimate College Nationals and WUCC. What does that stand for?
The World Ultimate Club Championships.
Awesome. Okay. So are those, so 2022, what kind of timeline are those running then? Have they already happened? Are they getting
They
ready soon, 2023?
they have happened, thank goodness. It was a lot of work, but it was great to be able to travel out there, see them through. The college showcase was all college players of color. Even if they didn't make that nationals event where it was hosted, they were invited to apply and compete on the finals showcase field, and it was filmed by ESPN, and there are a ton of people there cheering them on, and it was just really cool to see that. I think there's been a demand at the college level for that kind of showcase.
Hmm.
You know, in Atlanta, it was more of an older crowd, more experienced players, but in I think getting to a more the more towards the youth side of things is always a good move, and they crushed it.
That's awesome. I'm just curious, like when a college student goes to a showcase, what are the opportunities for post college that they're trying to, get a coach's attention or an owner's attention? What are the opportunities post college these days?
Yeah, so there's always club, which isn't it's not like pro where you get paid to travel and all your expenses taken care of. It is a costly hobby or passion, But there are also the national teams where you can compete on the world stage, like at World Ultimate Club Championships, but also the World Games, which, there's other sports there too, things like handball and, I don't know I forget what other sports, but, a lot of other sports. I was in Birmingham this year. Um, so looking for all those opportunities to play at the highest level that you can, being in a showcase like that really helps out those players to get visibility and to get recorded. Even some of the applications I looked at, it was clearly people being recorded from the sideline, by maybe a parent or a teammate on their phone, and it wasn't the highest quality, but you could tell that the player was good. And so now there's really high quality footage of them balling out with some of the best players of their age group in the country.
That's phenomenal. Yeah, the club nature of Ultimate is unreal. It sounds so amazing, and just the camaraderie that exists, the family almost that people when they're I've talked to a number of folks that just when they were moving to a new city, the first thing they did was look up the local club team and see when tryouts were.
Yeah, it really is like a family, like with the team that you mentioned, I'm playing with now, or well, I see the season is just over, but Atlanta Dirty Bird, it really is about coming together, playing well, but making sure that we're doing what we love to do and not getting in the way of that.
That's awesome. What would you say is the best part for you, the best part of being a professional player?
Um, I was a professional player for 2 seasons, and the best part was I think having your expenses covered, but
Mm.
also having that structure and the expectations and the pressure of performing at the highest level of where it's really just one game, and you're on a bigger field, and um it's streamed every time, um so a little bit more of the limelight, I'd say.
Okay, yeah. What about the best part of being like behind the scenes executive committee or like the, front office vibes for like the Atlanta Soul professional team?
I really like um the people that I work with. Really, it is it's a very professional relationship a lot of the times, but I think the people that run ultimate organizations, even who captain ultimate teams, are very passionate about it,
Hmm.
and it's just really cool to work with people who care so much and who are getting paid nothing or very little or paying in money.
Hmm.
um to make some of these things happen, uh, and kind of creating the future, kind of, making these products for people to enjoy and seeing people come out. And you have no idea how many people are going to show up to the game that you're hosting, but then the crowd is filling the stands and they're cheering, and they're cheering for their friends, they're cheering for their city. It's just cool to be able to make that happen.
That's awesome. What do you think? I think, you mentioned that some people who would be, yeah, captains or owners of teams pay in to be a professional team, and that might surprise some folks. What else might surprise people about the world of either club or professional ultimate?
um I think it would surprise people to know, like, the average pro ultimate player gets paid like $20 a game. That,
Wow.
like, the vast majority of the money that they're making is the travel and the uniforms, the housing, because it adds up. You could spend like 3 grand on a season pretty easily, and it's all taken care of. And then, maybe there's some other perks, like you get like sponsorship products, or, maybe there's free healthcare in the form of PTs that you might get. Having that community too is also valuable. But yeah, I mean, it's still growing. Some players make a living wage, which is awesome. But that's all a part of it. It's here and there, and then, next thing we know, it could blow up.
Absolutely. Well, and it's amazing to, yeah, like you said, a lot of leagues and teams start in the non, major sports, I guess I would say, of the United States. They start as passion projects. And so to see so many leagues now be started, especially in the women's space, which sometimes is even more underfunded. I would say maybe across the board, actually more underfunded, but like that the people are so passionate. They're just like, we have to do this. We have to do this. And for anyone listening that would have any interest at all or any ability to get in and like sponsor teams or leagues, now is the time. Like, it is so exciting to think about building something together. I just think that's so cool. And how cool for you to get to still be playing, but then also help build that professionally, but also then help build that with, the kids that you're coaching. That's so amazing.
Yeah, it's all tied together. I think being physically active helps me really buy into to everything else.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, and of course, it's all rewarding in itself. Getting to watch like your kids succeed on the field, do the thing that you've been telling them to do, finally,
Yeah.
have it all work out at times. And of course, not always winning, but definitely seeing, for instance, in the youth club championships, the YCC team that I coach, just seeing them all grow and come together as a team.
That's awesome. So what's coming up for Color of Ultimate? Anything into this year or into next year? Anything going on?
Well, we just started a partnership with VC, who is a apparel provider, and they're great people. They are also very passionate about what they do, and they actually sponsor multiple causes, a lot of, women's ultimate, and LGBTQ support. So it's really cool to partner with them. And then we have a couple on the horizon. I'll say we're probably looking to do another college nationals game, um, and then a more fun, but still, you know, powerful tournament, a more fun tournament. Without being too specific, we did a tournament at LA Throwback, which is a beach tournament in Los Angeles. And that was where we had two teams of people of color come together and go through this tournament. We played a showcase game and just spent the weekend together. And, I like, a lot of us are still friends to this day because of that tournament. And it was just such a special experience. And, we had a live discussion as well that was live streamed. So something more akin to that, is also on the horizon.
That's awesome. Fantastic. Well, and where can folks follow and connect so that they can know when these things are happening and stay in touch?
Yeah, all of that on Twitter is at Color of Ultimate, and then Instagram is the same handle. We're also on Facebook, but those two are going to be your best bet for all the information that's forthcoming.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll put all those in the show notes. Link out, give a follow, and yeah, stay tuned for exciting things in 2023. It sounds like. Do you have a couple of minutes for just some quick rapid fire questions? And obviously, yeah, if there's anything else you would like to share, um, you know, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah, yeah, Atlanta Soul is coming back for another year and potentially doing some rebranding. So thinking about the name and trying to be more intentional with the messaging, how what we want to communicate and bring awareness to as far as the history of Atlanta, and some more deep messages like that yeah, we hope people tune in for.
That's exciting. And those tryouts will be soon, right? For Atlanta Soul?
Yeah, Souls tryouts are usually throughout January, February, that time of year. Yeah.
Yeah, exciting stuff. Yeah, and they're in the Premier Ultimate League and traveling against teams all up and down the East Coast. So we will definitely keep having footage and following that league. And you can find when games are on our things, but also we'll put all the Atlanta Soul ways to connect as well in the show notes. So yeah, it's super exciting for another year. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, me too. All right, what are your rapid fire questions?
Okay, yes, just a couple. We'll do so you as a player, yeah, what's your favorite drill to do at a practice for Ultimate?
Oh, my favorite drill. I think I've really grown to like mini, where you're playing 3-on-3 or 4-on-4, and it's a smaller field, and you're just getting reps. Like it's so fast paced. With 7-on-7, sometimes you're just sitting in the stack, you're waiting for things to happen, but you cannot wait. You're building all your skills at once with mini.
Awesome. What about your least favorite drill?
My least favorite drill. It's got to be some kind of an endurance conditioning.
Yeah.
I just it's a grind, and I can do it on my own, listening to music. But when I'm not in control of it, when I don't know what's coming, it can be miserable.
Yeah. And I mean, there is a lot of running in Ultimate. It is unreal the endurance that players have.
Yeah, you've got to be ready.
Yeah, definitely. What would you say is your favorite place you've ever played a game of Ultimate?
Oh, my favorite place. I have to say, um, yeah, the beaches at Los Angeles. I do love Beach Ultimate, and Santa Monica has just amazing sand, um, great views, and spectators just walking up and down the boardwalk. Players you can see for fields and fields, and the whole vibe, the atmosphere is great out there.
Awesome. Very cool. What do you hope continues to change in the sports landscape of Ultimate? Like in 5 years, what are you hoping has evolved or continued to change?
Yeah, that's a great question. The first thing that comes to mind, I hope people continue to discuss spirit of the game and continue to decide what it should mean for themselves and for the community at large. Spirit of the game is kind of the basis behind Ultimate being a self-officiated sport at the club level, where all players are given the responsibility of upholding the rules
Mm.
and having discussions on the field to resolve all the conflicts. Um, People always say, yeah, that spirit is, and I've said this myself, like it's changing, or maybe it's even dying. People are becoming more and more cynical, but I think that's probably been a trend for a long time. Maybe it's hard to see that perspective, but I hope we figure out what we want to be. Do we want referees just making the calls very quickly? Discussions can take way too long, and it makes it hard to watch and frustrating to play sometimes. So I hope we figure that out.
Definitely. Yeah, that is again something super unique to the sport of Ultimate. So That will definitely be something to keep watch of and see what evolves. My last question, I always ask this: if you could get free tickets for life for any sporting event that happens, you get the tickets every time it happens. So it might be every year, or like every 4 years for an Olympics. What are you getting free tickets to?
You know, I don't attend a ton of sports games. Might surprise you to know that. Um, but something about American football is really entertaining. Just the athleticism on display. So I'd probably say football games. So that would include the Super Bowl, which, if I didn't want to go, maybe I'd just sell it and become a millionaire.
There you go. Oh man, there you go. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing a bit about you and about the Atlanta Soul. Just thanks again for what you do, especially Color of Ultimate. Just what you're doing to inspire and educate and show kids what they could be. And I just we'll definitely be following along. And like I said, put the show note or the links in the show notes for how folks can get involved and um, yeah, it's just really inspiring. So thanks for this conversation.
Yeah, thanks, Ashley. It was my pleasure.